And so therefore, guys, these two popular techniques for strategy implementation was, one is the balanced scorecard, where we look at four perspectives: financial, customer, process, and learning and growth. And these four perspectives gives a very balanced outlook to an organization, because these strategies never skew to either one of them, and it gives a holistic perspective for you to track the implementation of the strategy. Alongside that, we have the SMART framework: specific, measurable, achievable, and time bound, which makes sure that every employee in the organization is given the right objectives relevant, and then they are tracked on a periodic manner. So two important frameworks that we need to understand as far as our strategy implementation is concerned. And implementation is the most difficult one, has its own challenges compared to formulation or control. Yeah, so that was pretty much what we want to take out among the various frameworks that we talk about for strategy. As we build on, we will include more, but the two ones that we've discussed so far is, of course, the balanced scorecard and the SMART perspective. So today, let's begin our journey with some more understanding of our frameworks that we want to cover, and they are pretty much with regards to the growth perspective. And this growth perspective is mainly trying to understand what is the business objective and how are we going to address this business objective of ours. Okay. So we all know that there is no short term, there is no long term as such. We have short term, medium term, and long term to be able to take care of it. But we also want to understand that, yes, what are our business objectives? Whatever we work on with an objective of making money or revenue. If it's not going to yield revenue, obviously it is an unprofitable proposition for the organization. That's not what we would like to get into. So, various objectives that we have. Of course, everybody at the end leads to profitability. But there are different objectives that we have, and that we would like to look into. Survival, and I think during the COVID times, we had survival as a key objective of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It was basically stability, safety, and that's what we wanted as a key objective during times during unprecedented times, during times which are not very good. Stability is as long as we stay put, as long as we are doing what we're expected to do, and that's yielding positive revenue. I think we just want to go status quo to order to be stable. Growth, if you're on a growth objectives, you must ramp up your initiatives, production, manufacturing, advertising. And then you have efficiency. Remember, efficiency includes effectiveness as well, ensuring that whatever you do benefits the customer, number one. Number two, whatever you do is going to be done with the purpose of doing the same thing better, but ultimately benefiting the customer and obviously meeting the strategic goals. Lastly, we want to make profit. And yes, everything that we do should yield profitability, but that profitability should not be at the expense of customer convenience. Okay. Our business environment is obviously, we touched upon this in our last session, but it's absolutely dynamic. It's complex because we think we understand, but we don't. And what is adding to this complexity? Anybody, guys, what's adding to this complexity of the business environment? Because in the past also it was complex, but now I would say it is super complex. And what is making it more complex than it has been in the past? Any idea? What is complex about the business environment?
I guess the customer is now aware of what he needs.
Customer is aware of the needs, and those needs are evolving. They are never
Correct.
static, and that is what is making it complex. Good. We also talk about what is increasing. I'm not sure. Global nature of business. Yeah, it's that is also very, very important, and that's the globalization part of the story. The world is your market. Competition has been ever increasing, and the good point there. And the catch is direct competition we always knew when worried about. It's the indirect competition which is adding to the complexity of the whole situation. Yeah, it's dynamic and nothing is similar. What works this year may not work next year because the situation, the scenario is different. Okay, multifaceted. It all depends on how you want to take the environment as you. If you are operating in a red ocean space with extremely intense competition, do you want to get out of it and create a niche and move into blue space or blue ocean space? Is a choice that you as an organization will make. And lastly, how can you impact your organization, of course, but how can you also impact in terms of the benefits that you're going to achieve out of this, yeah, for the society at large. Correct, Rohit. Customer more aware, and that's what we touched upon, that the customer needs are ever evolving and the customer is ever more demanding. And those of you who work front office dealing with customers know it better than I do. It's extremely difficult to keep your customers satisfied. And the biggest challenge is today's delight becomes tomorrow's expectations. And in therefore, how do you make your customer satisfied and happy 365 days in a year is a challenge in itself. So, I thought I like this video a lot, says a lot in itself. And I think I want to share this with you. It says, expect the unexpected. It's a quick, nice clipping. Let's just, look at it. Okay. Absolutely expect the unexpected for an environment that we want to live into, or the environment that we want to operate into. We must be, anything is possible and we need to be aware of it. We need to be ready with it. The Goliath principle is what was demonstrated here. Never get scared of the giantness or the size of the organization. You can create your niche and fight in that space. So here's the analysis that I want to talk about, guys, and that's called as PESTEL analysis, as the acronym stands for political, economic, socio-cultural, technological, environmental, and legal. Okay. So what is the, why do we want to do PESTEL? We want to do PESTEL because the environment that we operate in is ever dynamic. It is, we want to find out what is happening in the environment around us. So what is it that we can exploit and what is it that we must be aware of? Whatever we are doing is in line with environment, and if it's in line with environment, we don't have any more surprises that we want to fight with or handle with in the future, because we operate in that environment and we are mindful of that. Okay. So it is an as-is situation. We don't come up with any actions when we prepare the pestle. We just want to acknowledge that this is the environment, and that's what we have to be mindful about in the environment that we operate in. Yeah, it is the starting point of strategy formulation. No strategy ever, and more important now than ever, is going to be done without doing a pestle analysis. So the starting point of any strategy development is PESTEL. Okay, so in the implementation, we saw balance scorecard and SMART. In the development, we are seeing PESTEL as a tool that businesses need to look into. Any prepared a PESTEL analysis at work or in your professional lives, in your personal lives also? We don't know, but some people can and do. Anybody who's prepared, seen, been a part of PESTEL analysis? Nobody? Okay, long ago, you done it for the industry. Okay. Sorry, Rohit. Was it good that you prepared? Good as in, was it satisfactory or was it just a draft? Preparation of, yeah.
It was overwhelming for me, to be honest, at that time.
Okay.
Just to understand how many variables can play out with respect to like lots of variables can play out with respect to deciding the strategy. So it was, to be honest, overwhelming for me.
Okay. And then what was the outcome of that? Did you use that as a development of strategy for IT, for your unit, for your business?
No, it was more of a academic assignment which I
Okay.
had to complete. So it was part of that.
So it was an academic venture, not professional. No worries.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. But yeah, anyone else? Anybody has a strategy related role? It's very interesting to see that none of you are raising your hands for strategy related roles. But in fact, guys, in whatever work you're doing, I'm sure you can't be doing the same thing over and over again. New ideas, new ideas, wanting to do things differently, out of the box thinking, design thinking, whatever you call it and say it. You cannot do this without thinking. So in your own little ways, in your own little micro ways, you are contributing, and rather you should be contributing to doing new ways of doing business. Yeah. So let's talk about Pestle, and then we have an exercise that we will do on Pestle just to refine and make sure that our understanding of Pestle is exactly how the organization should be, and obviously it should benefit the organization. So the political environment, very, very strong in terms of the political setup. It's also called as the geopolitical environment. And earlier, this used to be constant, but that's now dynamic. In the last 1 year, look at the different governments, look at the different countries in terms of the political turmoil that they've gone into. I have one interesting one with the US elections on board. And when the results were out, it was very difficult for the then administration to accept defeat. And this created quite a wave for a short period of time, but it did create quite a wave in the markets globally, because nobody knew what kind of government is it going to continue with Trump's government, or is it going to be with the Biden or with the Democratic administration. Yeah, so here's an interesting one.
The moments Congress, you can see there behind me, has gone into full lockdown. No one is able to enter or leave the building, and the Vice President Mike Pence, who was presiding over this proceeding here behind me today, has been escorted from the building. And why has he been? Well, because in the past hour or so, protesters tried to break through the barrier to storm the building to stop the proceedings from going on inside, where Joe Biden was being certified as president. You can hear the police cars all around me. We have heard flashbangs going off. Protesters have come up to me showing me the tear gas in their eyes. This is increasingly a very edgy, nasty scene here. And why are they here? Well, earlier, their President Donald Trump encouraged them to rise up, to protest. He urged them to fight back, and he told them and all of us that they would not accept the steal. And that is exactly what they are saying that they are here to do today, not to accept that steal. Because what was going on, of course, was Joe Biden being certified inside that building behind me with Mike Pence presiding over the proceedings. He had earlier made clear to Donald Trump that there was nothing he could do to prevent the process from going on. He doesn't have the authority to throw out the Electoral College votes that have ushered in Joe Biden as president. And inside, the nation's top Republican, Mitch McConnell, urged Republicans, rebels who were objecting to the certification of Joe Biden to stand down. He told them the votes, he said, the states, the courts have all spoken. If we overrule them, it could damage our republic forever. Well, it's not clear if those senators were listening to Mr. McConnell. Certainly the proceedings have been locked down now, and it's pretty clear that no one here will be listening to him either. A very defiant tone here. You can see the police all around me, Kathy. Well, Matt, as you have just alluded to there, the New York Times, we gather, we have no internet reception here because, you can see what's going on around me. Protesters are banging on the door. They have got inside. They breached the building here behind me. Can you imagine lawmakers who were due to certify the election of Joe Biden are instead finding themselves face down on the floor, trying to protect themselves from marauding protesters who are trying to get in and access the building. And in the last couple of minutes, the mayor here, Muriel Bowser, has issued across all our phones a citywide curfew for today, beginning at 6 p.m. this evening until 6 a.m. Tomorrow morning, where essential workers, she says, including healthcare personnel, because remember, let's not forget we're in the middle of a pandemic here, and the media are exempt. I mean, Matt, were we in a banana republic, you might say what is going on here is an attempted coup. What else can you call it?
What about the inauguration in 2 weeks' time exactly, Siobhan, briefly? It doesn't look good for that, does it?
Well, the plan is for it to go ahead, provided, of course, that Joe Biden is certified. That has been derailed today. One only assumes that this all will pass, this will calm down, and that the inauguration will go ahead as planned. But this is Donald Trump's America, so, Matt, nothing is guaranteed.
A very interesting one, guys. And of course, there are many more political turmoils that we've seen. We've seen Afghanistan, we've seen Pakistan, we've seen, Russia and Ukraine, we've seen Sri Lanka, we've seen all of this happening in the last year and a half, and some UK also, EU as well. And we've seen a lot of this happening, giving that state of affairs of, political stability is important for a business to prosper and grow in that particular space. Yeah. Yes, those are also due to political reasons, Kumar, which basically talks about, the ease of doing business, and therefore the political government's doing that. So for right now, I'll take it as political, what you say, but I'll put it under, either legal framework or economic framework, which talks about ease of doing business. Good. So that was the political setup. The political setup or the political factors do talk about a whole lot of this in terms of regulation. Sometimes gets combined with political framework. Trade controls or trade restrictions, government stability, because with government changing or toppling, it does have an impact on policies and procedures, and you as business do not want this kind of a turmoil, and hence you want places where governments do not change their policies and procedures as per their wills and fancies. Zimbabwe has a corruption level which is extremely high. But then the businesses over there are saying that it's only the one party that you pay or that you need to strive through, and that's the government. So for them, a lot of people look at that as an opportunity, because if you're a large MNC, you can you work with the government and create policies and procedures which are in your favor, thereby stimulating a possibility of doing more and more business in that particular country. Economic also is very important. And in economic, we've been hearing a lot of this, which is with regards to inflation. And that is something that businesses and economies will have to grapple in 2023. Growth rates, we talked about GDP growth rates that have been released last month by the IMF, and we have to be mindful about that if you're planning for growth in the future. exchange rates, unemployment rates, all of this are factors that impact economic indicators. Anybody heard of the indicator of PMI, Purchasing Managers Index? PMI? If not, you can Google it up and tell me what you think it is. And if you want to check the PMI score for India, you can check that also and tell me what it is. Yes, anybody? PMI, Purchasing Managers Index. This is a surrogate or an indicator of consumer confidence. And if you want to find out about wealth, purchase habits, the PMI is the best source. For India, I think the number is close to 56. It's a monthly feature. And then the latest numbers that got published November, I think, or December also, was 56. And this 56 is a great indicator, because anything above 50 is good, anything below 50 is bad. During the pandemic, most economies, including India, had a score of 47 or 46 also, when obviously it was a gloomy picture for consumers, and they rather preferred liquidity over investments or purchase of anything. Yeah. Is it 59.2, Kumar? For which month are you talking about, if that's the case? Because I think it's at 56. Yeah, Ashish, more like that. Yeah.
It's showing as 56.4 as of October.
As of October, okay. Fair enough. Anybody?
Yeah, that's November. 55.
That's
November.
correct. I think December is also around this thing. Yeah. So right, guys. It's around 56 is what we can take between Ansh and Ashish, and that's at about 56, which is a very good indicator of economics in terms of what you want to buy and whether the consumers are confident about the economy. Because one thing we've noticed in the cycle is, if the consumers are gloomy about the future, then they will delay the purchases. Money will not be circulating in the economy, as a result of which the demand supply will not be stimulating the growth of the economy. And that is therefore dealt with or referred to through the PMI, very strong indicator for all businesses when you're looking at economic indicators towards whatever you're doing for the market in which you're operating. Sociocultural is everything about what are the things that have changed from the social perspective or the cultural perspective. Let's as a class come up with top 3 activities that we have changed or we've noticed a change in the socio-cultural setup in the last 3-4 years. Yeah, anybody? Some great social things that we have seen as changes.
One of them would be diversity.
We always were diverse, Ansh, so why diversity is important? I mean, there was always diversity.
But not everything was accepted. I mean, if we talk about the past, so things have changed.
Yeah, let me drill you a little bit more in the thought. When you say not everything is accepted, what are you referring to?
It could be gender. It can be caste. It can be other social profiles.
Okay, so again, they were always there. So why is it so critical in the last 3 years compared to previous years? Everybody talked about gender diversity and stuff. Are you saying gender diversity at the workplace?
Yeah, it could be at the workplace as well. I mean, even if you see nowadays, even if you're disabled, you can apply for a job. Like, so they're treated equally.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, the one thing, guys, where everybody is talking about loud and clear in organizations is to have a diverse workforce. So if it's, the culture side of it, then yes, culture as well. But one diversity that they're talking about a lot, and that is absolutely true, and that's gender. So you must make sure that your senior management has a good mix. It could be 70-30, it could be 60-40, it could be 50-50 as far as the male-female ratio goes at the workplace. Yeah. So opportunities should not be having a discrimination tag of gender attached to it. Okay, good. Yes, that is one
Completely
big
makes sense.
thing.
Yes.
And HR is consciously got to work on this number. And this is the goal given to HR of narrowing the diversity gap, whatever you define diversity as, but they are defining it from the gender perspectives, right? Black Lives Matter, yes. So that again is on the cultural side. Fair and Lovely immediately changed the name from Fair to, I think they changed it to Handsome, if I'm not mistaken. And they changed that name. The word fair was out of the branding, especially for the Indian market. But that's on the reactionary side of it. We'll take gender diversity as one. Any other points?
Yeah, I think post the pandemic, most people are into healthier alternatives, be it food
Yes.
choices, be it any day-to-day life, any product.
Mhm.
So people are more health conscious than before. Right now.
Absolutely correct. Yeah, absolutely. Much more health consciousness on the rise. And therefore, marketeers have really taken this very seriously. When the brand name itself has the word organic in it, half the battle is done, and you are, willingly accepting that the pricing of that product is going to be slightly above the rest. So organic, why? Because it appeals to the health conscious consumer, and people have become very, very mindful right from the 22, 23 year olds to upwards, have been mindful of what they consume and how much they consume. Yeah. So people are now reading labels of packaging to read ingredients of it. And that's a big change that has happened. So, like juice manufacturers of mango in particular, which had sugar content in it, are now saying no added sugar or none of that set as a marketing practice onto their packaging or onto the labels. So the health and fitness part has also gone up, and I think a lot of us, in fact all of us, are getting into this, for whatever means and forms, going to the gym or doing an outdoor activity or a walk or a run or a bike, whatever we can in our capacity, and that's what we do. In Mumbai, I know some of our friends last year when I was there, we started this bike club, and on a Sunday morning, we used to, go for a whatever bike for about a couple of hours, and then, have that kind of health and fitness thing done through the bicycling arm that you. So whatever in whichever capacity that you could, you can do things, in terms of, but health and fitness from the food content and health and fitness from the health and fitness regime, both have gone up a lot. Gender diversity also, yes. Work from home is also picking up. I'm not sure in India you have work from home as yet. I think practically everybody is going to office. But if you've just read what Twitter has announced this morning, and they have shut down their Seattle offices, they've stopped paying rent, and they've asked people to work from home. Its workforce is down significantly. They have decided only to keep their offices in San Francisco and in New York. All other offices will be shut down. And they are asking people to work from home only. Okay, so yeah, that is somewhere going to be in the Western markets more. Otherwise, I would say where work from home continues to be the norm at work. Another big thing that's going out of the work culture is performance management systems. So people are looking at not the traditional ways to manage people, but to look at different ways to measure the performance of the most important stakeholder, which is people. Okay, good. So these are on the rise, and marketers or businesses have to look into this. You cannot ignore it. The technology innovation is another big one, which is here to stay. And if it is here to stay, it is going to be embraced as part of uh, uh, people's lives as well. The number one training that was offered by organizations last year was related to digital skills and upgradation of digital skills, whatever be the case in point. But that was the number one training that was given to people. Yeah. Cool. So that is that, and those are some of the changes that that exist in the social cultural setup, and as businesses we have to be mindful of this. Demographic changes have also been the Gen Zs coming in, and Burberry as a brand had a tough fight because it's a premium niche brand, and they wanted to introduce a brand to appeal to the Gen Zs. The same brand obviously could not do it. It will lose the premiumness, and therefore they came in with a new version of the product, only appealing to this segment. Banks, on the other hand, just give a product online for them because, as rightly said, is at one conference, this banker stood up and said, everybody's saying Gen Z, but they are not our target customers, which is absolutely correct. If they are not, then no matter what's happening to them in the environment, you are not going to be bothered because that's not your target segment. Yeah, but they are on the rise, and most importantly, when they are on the rise, they will come into the workforce. Three characteristics of Gen Z millennials: they are confident, they are candid, and at the same time, the last one, they are confused. So they're collaborative as well. So with these characteristics coming in, the workplace is not like this. So it's going to change the way people work. You will not be paired up typically with people of your same age, background, and lifestyle. It's going to be mixed up differently. And if you watch, I somehow feel if you watch the movie The Intern, the future of work is going to be somewhat like that. Technology as an environment, and there's enough said and done here. I have an interesting video about robots serving coffee at a coffee shop in Dubai, and I'm going to share this video with you.
This is a robot making me a drink. I think my first experience with any robot in any restaurant was here at a Yo Sushi, where chefs prepare the sushi, then put them on a conveyor belt. Then we select the food that we want off the belt. But robots have slowly become more and more involved in how we operate as a society. Even today, we're seeing them help us with medical cases. We're seeing them help us with food. We're seeing them help us with transport. We're seeing them help us with building all types of things. But in most of those cases, they operate alongside or by a human. So the question remains, what if no humans were involved? What if robots fully controlled the experience? Wow, I feel like Will Smith in iRobot. Fully by robots. So how does this all work? The cafe is run by waterproof robots. There's a chef bot who prepares the food. There's a barista bot who prepares the coffee. There's a bartender bot who prepares the juices and the mocktails. And there is a waitress or waiter bot who brings the food to your table. And when you order your food, you order on a smart menu. Now what happens? Now we just wait. All right. Over here. Over here. There we go. Okay, thank you. Is it just gonna chill? Let's try the coffee, see what it tastes like. Hey, thank you so much. My compliments to the barista. Excuse me? Can I get some? So you may be thinking, how does this whole thing work? Basically, the whole system is synced up into the cloud. So the whole network and programming brings it all together and everything runs smoothly and flows. And one more thing, the robots even dance. The end one is really into it. All right, here we are in the kitchen of the Robot Cafe, and here we have all the meals that have been pre-prepped. Then we have the chef robot, the chef bot. Yeah, chef bot, who gets all the food ready for us. Next up, we have bartender bot, and this is the robot that prepares all the mocktails and juices. Last but not least, we have the, I like to call her or him the coffee bot, the barista bot. Coffee equals happiness, so they're the happiness bot. I feel silly explaining what it does after calling it Coffee Bot. This is the robot that prepares all the coffee. Before we forget, and all these little robots, little Roomba-looking robots. These are the waitress and waiter bots that take the food or drinks to the guests at their table. Get a side shot. I'm gonna go into wisdom mode right now. Yeah, that's it. So RoboCafe was mainly built as a social experiment to see how people would embrace a fully robotic experience. And I get it, technology is here to stay. And if anything, robots are only going to play a more active part in our lives in the future. But the way that I feel is that you need that human interaction to fully embrace the moment. Like that teacher when she shares an experience or a moment that inspires you. Like that barista who makes the coffee just the way you like it with that little touch. So even though robots and technology are going to fill a big part of that world, some places still need that human touch. Much love. God bless you.
So this is what they talk about in terms of the future, and there are a lot of these cloud kitchens, and there are a lot of these. They were at the Expo Dubai. They said the kitchen of or the restaurant of tomorrow is going to be run by the robots entirely. Yes, they do exist. There is enough debate going on around us. Will machines replace humans, or will they work in parallel? And in my view to that is it will always be complementing, never substituting, because no matter how sophisticated the models are, human interventions are required to be able to let it work together. So technology will only help process a lot of work, routine work, mundane work, but cerebral work, you will require people to come in and make sure that what's happening is going to be right, or right or done right. Like we have AVs and EVs, guys. There was this great talk happening a couple of months ago with the pilots talking about it, saying, since most of the things are on autopilot mode, why do you need two captains in the aircraft? One is good enough. And I think the chairperson from the Pilots Association Australia said, why two? Why not? I mean, why even two? Why not just be entirely on autopilot zone? So, how many of you would be comfortable traveling with you or your families or friends on an aircraft which is completely driven by, or which is completely in an auto mode, no pilot or no human intervention whatsoever? And when this question was asked, any reservations from my audience here, or would you all be willing to do that? A lot of people raised a lot of concern, in terms of would not like to travel. This is what a lot of people also said, what Kumar is saying. And this is, the confidence or the lack of confidence. And I think to a great extent that will be the question for the autonomous vehicles as well. Electric, yes, we understand, but autonomous, yes. But firstly, to program everything. Secondly, they will operate in a world with manual or human-driven cars. So, to program all of that, it's intelligent, but, if people have their reservations too. So good, that was on the technology side of the story. We have seen with Boeing autopilot, yes, metros too, yeah. Metros too operating without pilot, without drivers in the metros. And I think before it happens on a commercial setup, the Dubai Metro, which I clearly know, what they did was about 6 months they had people travel that metro free of cost, take a ride, be comfortable until it was made fully commercial. Natural environment, even if we want to, we cannot ignore. This includes, of course, uncertainties such as COVID. It includes climatic disasters. And we've seen a lot of these climatic natural disasters around us. One thing, which is the next biggest challenge after COVID for governments to handle? Next biggest challenge, any idea what it is for businesses to handle, or for
Will
to
it be
deal with?
climate change or?
It is climate change, Somajit, and the recent COP27 meeting that happened in Egypt, and the CEO of 3M was asked a question, and he was asking, "Are you going to attend this climate change forum?" And he laughed and he said, "Is it not supposed to be for governments?" In that, he was making a remark saying that organizations are thinking it's government's responsibility to do that, and there's enough talked about. So now is the time to act or do things as opposed to just talk. And everybody's got a thrashing there. So by the next time, this is going to be important, an aspect for businesses to consider. Interestingly, guys, sustainability is going to be a part of the strategy for organizations, and that's another big change that we're going to be seeing in 2023 and beyond. And you will have to include sustainability as a part of your strategy, because like it or not, it will influence loyalty. And if a company which is following the H&M Zara example, or H&M more particular, a few years ago, H&M was criticized because its factory in Bangladesh was using child labor for its operations. And what H&M did was they just said that it's beyond our control. We cannot control the suppliers. Zara took advantage of this. Zara said we do, and a lot of people who were solid H&M supporters that year in particular, what got drifted away or delayed their shopping until H&M was back again with a better image. So it will impact brand loyalties in the future, and hence sustainability is an important goal for organizations to meet. Which is a part of the natural environment. Legal environment, of course, goes very close to government, and there are laws that one has to be mindful about. Nike and, for example, Nike definitely did not want to come into the Indian market in 20 years ago because of the lack of trademark patent rules that existed there. Now there are better, so they have come into the market. But still there are those cheap brands floating everywhere. Yes, net zero carbon is what they want to achieve. So this, guys, is talking about the country with the corruption index 0 to 100. 0 is the highest corruption, and the lowest, and 100 is the lowest corruption. So that's how we read it. So for Denmark, if it's 88, it's the least corrupt in the country in the world, followed by New Zealand, Finland, Singapore, Sweden, and Switzerland. So that's the order or ranking. Globally, there are other countries that are below this, of course, in terms of the way to do business. So here's an example that we will be work on. If not, please take a picture of a screenshot of this. Since we are in India, let's move waters here. Let's talk about the fitness industry. Let's replace the word Dubai from India, unless you're fine to do it for Dubai. But otherwise, let's do it in India, because you're all operating out of that geography. So at least a better hands on it. So let's replace the fitness industry in. Oops, let's replace it. Just a second. I will share it. So if you've taken a picture, great. If not, then we'll just do it. Okay, cool. So now that you're reading what you're reading, what we want you to do is do this part of the story. So we'll develop the macro scan of the environment here, for this situation, and see how we are going to, how we develop a pestle. And then you don't have to strategize. You just have to put the pestle together. Use whatever assumptions you can. You can search something from your net if you would like to. In the interest of time, guys, we'll give you when we put you into a breakout room, not more than 2 points per environmental analysis. So pestle, each one of them will get about 2 points, and that's what you as a group need to put together. We'll discuss it as a class, and we'll put the pestle together for the class. Yeah. Okay. Any questions? If you have any shootout, I'll come to you. Otherwise, I will come to each of the rooms, and we're about 18 of us. Kindly, guys, don't do this. This is the worst thing to do. Last class, we had a couple of you just log in and then just not being taking part in anything. So you might as well do something better outside than just log in and not be anywhere. So highly discourage you from doing that. If you're here, you're here. Otherwise, it's better not to be here, is what I will say. So, when we put you into a group, the group size shrinks. People in the group are expecting you to join. So if not there, it's better to log off. And I understand that there are better things for you to do in life. So I'm going to put you into 3 groups. Actually, I'll put you into 5 groups, 3 to 5 participants in a row. That should be fine. And yeah, 4 in each. That's just good enough. So in the interest of time, again, guys, 2 per macro analysis, and then we come back. I'll give you about 15 minutes to put this together, and then when we come back, we'll do the pestle for the class. I mean, as a class, not for the class, sorry. So Anna, are you here? Then you need to join your room, please. All right, people. So let's build our case together for a pestle of the class. There are 5 groups and there are 6 points. So I'll have one group tell me political and legal together, and the rest of the groups we will talk as we pick out what we want to. So anybody, any room that would like to go first, and since you're going first, you tell me which of these 6 areas would you like to analyze?
I think Rohit, you can go ahead.
Sure, we'll go ahead. We represent group 3, Umesh.
Okay.
So, with respect to political, the fit
Okay, then
India.
you then you got to tell me both, yeah, political and legal,
Political
since
and
you've
economic.
chosen. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So tell me
Political.
political.
So with respect to political, there is already this Fit India movement which is going on. So there is a political motivation for the nationals to be fit, physically fit. So yeah, government promotes. Yeah.
You said Fit India movement,
Fit
right?
India movement, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Second one which we could think of is, and as a complement to this, there is also this National Yoga Day, which is being promoted. So one of the things which we picked up in the fitness industry is this yoga and group exercise. So a lot of focus on yoga from the political side of things as well.
Yeah. Okay. So government promotes fitness, Fit India movement, National Yoga Day. Yeah.
Yeah. So those were the 2 points actually. Which
okay. What about runs and marathons? Private organizations, governments are promoting it.
There are private organizations, they are promoting marathons. All the private sectors like Wipro, TCS.
Correct. Yeah.
And some organizations funded by the government as well.
Correct. So I'm going to say private and government funded. Okay, cool. So that's my first point. Yeah. Now, since this room has already talked about, anybody else, any other rooms want to tell me about political?
Hi, so Rekha here from Group 5. So having tax benefits as one of the components for, health initiatives or gym memberships can also be as a part of the health. I mean,
it's going to go here under legal, yeah, tax benefits for fitness sector
enrollments.
Yeah, so all fitness providers or health and fitness providers gets probably tax benefits. Yeah.
And I want to go ahead.
Sorry,
I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
So will it be the same for the land rebates if someone wants to open a gym and maybe the government is promoting? Will it come under the legal part?
Yes.
Okay.
Land rebates, you said, huh?
Yeah, right. Maybe someone opting to open a gym and the government is telling you can get a rebate for that.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Another one which we thought of was the fitness equipment needs to comply with this IEC standards, and IEC stands for International Electrotechnical Commission. So these are those medical standards to which the fitness equipment should comply. So anyone who is trying to open a gym, they'll have to be mindful of the legal compliance.
Yeah. What did you mention the standard name, Rohit?
It's IEC.
IEC. Very good. Yeah. And probably the masseur also needs to be certified.
Certified, yeah. The fitness trainers may also need to be certified as a legal requirement.
ISO standards for occupational and for quality management systems, which includes health and safety.
And if any CPG related products are introduced by the company, they can be FSSAI certified.
They can be what certified? Sorry.
The food products like FSSAI, I think food and something organization that certifies any food for India.
Okay.
So that certification, maybe if they are introducing any CPG related products, that can be. that certifications.
So when you say food, you mean those health supplements?
Yeah, right. The protein bars, the health supplements.
Okay. Okay. Good. Any others?
So in the political environment, I would like to add another point. I'm not sure which
Go
group I
ahead.
belong to, but then it's about the if you're in Delhi, you must be aware that the government, the Aam Aadmi Party, is also arranging these gym equipments in every park in Delhi. So promoting the fitness culture in India.
In public parks?
Yes, in public parks.
Yeah, so that'll again, good point. That'll again go in the first one, promoting fitness.
Can we include the foreign trade in terms of products or any?
That will be
gym
economic,
equipment?
Somajit. I will hold on to that. That will go under economic.
Okay. All right.
Any other political? Can I say this? We don't hear any drastic changes in the policy and equipment, in the policy and procedures for this industry, at least. And probably uh, uh, contributing. I don't know the contribution, but we can contributing to countries. What is contributing is health and fitness, strong. Not here. That will go under economic. I think this should be good enough for health. I was going to say health and fitness contributing to GDP. That's going to be economic. So stable government and policies pertaining to health and fitness sector or industry, and stable government becomes important. I'm going to talk about it more from the center and from the state. Okay.
So are we also taking in points for the legal?
Yeah, we've got two already. Unless you have another one, we can look into that.
Okay, I think the another point would be the regulations which are required at this point of time in regards to the health and safety. I think that's already covered,
Yeah,
right?
it's already covered. I just put it here at the bottom. Maybe it's not visible. Here. ISO standards for QMS.
Correct, and that's also in regards to the supplementation and the steroid usage which is happening
Yeah,
in
that is
most of the gyms.
all correct. All that will come through here between food certification and ISO standards. Yeah. And
Secondly,
also,
yeah,
while you say that, just one more, there must be some labor laws on shifts, 8-hour shifts, operating hours. For example, people working as a masseur cannot work for 15 hours, 16 hours a day.
correct.
Okay, so labor laws have got to be adhered to. Okay.
Correct. Another point is, I think Shama shared this point, is about the insurance benefits nowadays that the companies are providing for achieving fitness goals. The example was the Aditya Birla insurance.
Okay, so what are they doing? Sorry.
Shama, if you would like to highlight.
Will it come under legal, political, or under social?
I think legal.
It's not legal anymore. The government has not passed any law, right?
Nope.
Yeah. So then it will give more as a trend that you're observing.
So it is somewhere between the social and
or under okay, I would put it under social straight away, saying companies are encouraging employees and therefore employees or people are being more health conscious. A lot of organizations are doing fraternization events based on health and fitness. So how many steps have you climbed, how many runs have you done, how much have you done, and there's a nice buzz within the organization to kind of competitively work on it. So that's more of a social setup than a political or a legal aspect. So I would put it under social. Any others on political and legal, guys? Covers pretty much both these points, I think.
Mhm.
Okay, now, so I don't know which room took the lead on political and legal. Which was that? I think Rohit, your
It was
room,
group
right?
3.
So, yeah.
It was 3.
It was room 3. Okay, so now let's have another room take the lead for economic.
Yeah, I was mentioning about the
What's your room,
policy.
Soumyaji? What's your room?
It's room 2, my bad.
2. Okay, all right. Go ahead.
So I was mentioning about the policies in terms of foreign trade for the equipment. So maybe the amount of what sort of exchange rates are applicable on such goods and on the products.
So I'm going to say beneficial exchange rates.
Yeah, can lead to higher market share and ultimately
Import,
lower
export, import, right? Import
of
equipments.
such equipments, yeah.
Related to health and fitness. Let's put it that. Okay.
And the second, what we were thinking of, maybe the GDP can, increase in GDP can lead to people, being engaged in more because they have some more extra cash to use.
That is social.
Okay.
So there, good point. Extra cash. So let's talk about what we want to talk about. PMI index, 56%, December 2022. Consumer confidence on the high.
Yeah, they can invest on
confidence
themselves.
On the high disposable income. All of this will go here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Any other room? Anything else on economic?
Overall, startup culture is being promoted. So, like more benefits in terms of any startup organizations or any businesses who want to venture into new things.
So
There are
not any new things, right? Health and fitness.
health and fitness related things. I mean, they may get tax benefits as well.
I'm just saying promoted and
Yeah.
gets benefits. Yeah. So then we are putting it under economic, and that is going to be on the rise. SME or MNC or startup, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's move to the next one now, which is any other room now. Let's talk about social.
Yeah, hi, sir. So
Hello.
I think from socio-cultural background.
You guys were which room? We had 2 and 3 already done. So you're which room?
I guess we might be
5.
4.
5. Okay. The last one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so from the current lifestyle changes as everyone is changing into a healthy living lifestyle, so those are impacting the people to be more fitness conscious and utilizing the gyms and equipments and making ourselves healthier from the good diet plans and sort of things. So that is one impact you can say.
Okay.
It's like the attitudes are changing, the mindsets are changing.
Correct. And that's, I'm going to use exactly as per given to us in the case here, which is this, what you said is also referred to here. Strong preference among youth, not only on how consumers take care of their health, but how they work, travel, and socialize also. Yeah, that is a change in the attitude in addition to what we see.
Yeah.
Any others points, guys? Yes, Shreya?
Apart from that, like depending on the population as well, like how much well-educated people are to understand the fitness and its importance.
I think that gets covered in the first point. It's becoming a strong preference.
I guess
This is also something that we can add, which is given. Consumers are looking for consumers are looking for new and unique experiences, so that one needs to be mindful of. And I think fitness, this can go. Where would this go, guys? Fitness is a competitive industry with many players offering or whatever. So I think that can go as a part of your economic setup, which says fitness is a competitive industry with many players offering specialized solutions like yoga, group exercise. Or I'm even sorry, we have something here called as the environment, and we can put it here for right now. We'll visit that again. Any other points on social?
Yes, if I may add on
Go
to
ahead.
this.
Go ahead.
Like now, social acceptance among people going to gym is much more available. I mean, women are going to gym, and they are accepted in the gym environment. They are much more educated towards the fitness, and so the fitness education is one thing I would like to highlight, and the cultural acceptance among genders. Like even in gyms nowadays, there are special hours for women. Then the second point I would like to highlight is the emergence of the fitness influencers. If you check social media, they are growing largely.
Correct.
So they are also educating the youth to be better, to build better confidence among themselves, and it also has physical and mental benefits.
And now that other point which we talked about also, we will, companies promoting employees to be fitter. What somebody spoke about insurance, they also give memberships to
Gym facilities and offices.
Health and fitness clubs, gym facilities, at workplace, all of that. So that's
employee engagement programs does include
promoting employees healthier, fitter. I think that's a good word. I'll use that. Employee engagement initiatives. Good. Yeah, so that's pretty much on the socio-cultural setup that we want to talk about. Cool. Any others? Okay, somebody's put fitness is the new fashion statement. Yeah. Okay. Now, I would also, if you can get me the number, guys, what is the CAGR of the fitness industry in India for the next 5 years or so? Anybody?
So 43.89 million in 2022.
Okay, any growth numbers?
Annual growth of 5.62%.
Okay.
Expected growth rate.
Expected
from
growth.
2022 to 2026.
So that's your 2022
to 2026.
What is the number that you're telling me?
5.62%.
5.62%. Okay, so it's about 5.62%. There it is.
So of the projected market volume would be 55.68 million by 2026.
55.6 million people by 2026. Cool, good. So guys, here what we're trying to say also is that you can use data, quantitative numbers to be able to build up your case and point as you're scanning the market. Yeah. Okay, good. Any other? We have room 1, I think, left, and we have room 4 left.
So this CAGR will not come in economic?
No, this is the industry. I usually prefer to put it in the industry because that's how the industry is growing by people rather than by the economic setup. That's why I put it under social. And you know, this trend is going to be higher. And who is going to drive this trend? At the global level, this industry is going to grow with about close to 35-36% in the next 7 years. And what is going to drive this growth is not women, but men. Men are becoming more conscious about how they look, how confident that they appear, and they are strong contributors to growth, to health and fitness and grooming, if that we were to put that industry together. And as you know, it's talked about here, they care for their health, well-being, and appearance, but also how they work, travel, and socialize. And this is more driven by men versus women. They are going to be strong contributors to it. Okay, cool. So room 1 or room 4, you can pick any of them, technology or environment.
Sir, I am not sure if I belong to room 1 or room 4, but I have been sharing points for every kind of analysis. But then,
So now between 1 and 4, if you're in that group, you can talk about it.
For the technological, right?
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
So nowadays, a lot of fitness monitoring apps and devices are booming in the market.
Yes.
Like smartwatches.
Mobile apps, smartwatch.
Device, yeah.
Widely used by consumers. So I'm going to put them in the beginning as saying technology conscious consumer. Yeah.
Right. And online fitness coaches are available. I mean, 24/7.
Online fitness coaching available.
And many YouTube channels are available on various aspects of health, like yoga.
Good. YouTube channels, easily accessible.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Then the next thing we can talk about is the fitness equipments. Which are also evolving.
Fitness equipment,
Even fitness equipments are so smart.
Are they? Like, what are they like? Fitness equipment? You have a robot teaching you how to exercise?
So it's like it's a coach,
could be, yeah.
Right?
Sorry.
It's so fitness equipments, even the treadmills nowadays have a screen on them, right? Similarly, all this fitness equipments have screen on them which guide you how to do which kind of exercises, how many reps you need to do, how many calories you're burning, and it does show you all the status.
Correct.
Yeah, even though while using weighing balance, you can find out the BMI of your body. Weighing balance.
Correct.
Correct. Yes. I'm just going
we
to put
never
BMI.
used to think about these things, right?
Correct.
In the past.
Absolutely not.
Like these oxygen monitors on your wrist watches.
Correct.
Or,
yeah. And how much your average, on your smartwatch with a lot of these health apps, it gives you your average, run, whatever calorie burnout, and tells you
Steps,
a nice
number of steps has been walked per day.
Correct. Whether you're less, more, what are you doing, and etc., etc., etc. So there's a lot of interactive engagement that happens because of technology. Yeah.
Now, sir, not only that, even we can say internet penetration to the villages also. I can say that is also one point.
A very good point. So internet penetration. Can you tell me what is it for India?
Let's check Google.
I'm going to say high, and then we can put a number there. 60%?
43% in 2020.
43, it should be higher. 2022 should be higher.
43%.
Full India, as in India, urban India will be obviously higher. So I'm going to say
43%.
47% in 2022.
47%. That's more like what I thought in 2022. Okay, cool. And that's internet penetration is high, growing the population, and that's at 2022. Cool. That takes us to our last last part, which is the environment. And I think this is which group? Group 4 or room 4 or room 1?
Group 4 is over now. Just we
Group
completed
4
technology.
is over. So
Technology.
group 1, yeah, group 1 or room 1. Hello, room 1.
I have an input, although I'm from room 3.
Okay, go ahead.
We talked about collectively, we talked about reduction in carbon footprint. So people are also willing to ride, say, bicycles to office. So that could be leveraged by the fitness industry or the fitness organizations, wherein they can promote these kind of programs to give bikes and people use those to go to office.
Yeah, I think we've put that here. Companies promoting, this thing, and that, and in the West, when I was years ago, this is when I was interning at Nike, being a sports and fitness company. They said if you walk to work or if you bike to work, you get $1 every day. So those kinds of things are also being promoted by companies. Or if you carpool to work, instead of everybody getting your own car, if you have a couple of people together, then obviously there is an incentive for it.
Sir, I would like to keep it in the negative for India because we don't have a proper cycling infrastructure on roads. Government is not really promoting cyclists, and because we don't really have that proper environment China.
So we will correct. So we don't talk about it only, because that is not there in our environment.
Yep.
But if you go into metro cities, you do see these things, like there are rentals, different bike stands. If I specifically take example of Bangalore, you see a lot more of it there. So although it's like correct, it's not nationwide thing that is in operation, but yes, the bigger cities are definitely doing some work in that area.
Okay, cool. Any other environment that you want to talk about in terms of?
I can talk about climate change.
And what about it?
Nowadays, if you look at in a single day, we can see 4 seasons are changing. Morning, it will be sun will be there. Afternoon, there will be a shower. Okay, evening again. Like environment, it keeps changing. Because of that, that is affecting our health. So people are conscious about that, and they want to develop some kind of immunity against that.
But that's mainly that goes under mainly of your social setup. Yeah. So environment is the environment around us. So are we more towards environmental friendly products, sustainable products? The lighting that we use, is it more LED kind of story?
Yeah, I can add one point. We can, we are moving towards a cleaner energy using solar or wind power to power up our, the fitness industry or the fitness areas. So that can be one point, using a cleaner energy or using energy to power up.
Use of, I'm going to say it like that only.
Yeah, so there are some e-bikes also which are coming, right? So
yes. Yeah.
But how can we relate it to the fitness?
Yeah, use of cleaner energy. E-bikes is obviously going to promote you not driving, you basically not getting more into, tomorrow if you have these hybrid vehicles, you will be using hybrid vehicles more than your petrol kind of vehicles. We're going to work in the environment and promote the environment better. So there is going to be less pollution in the environment for you. But more than that, I think what we can talk about is the equipment, or the lights, LED or energy saving, the materials that you're going to use. Yeah, materials that you're going to use are going to be more organic. And for example, the oils and stuff that you use are more organic, natural, without any artificial ingredients. So those kinds of things is what I can talk about here as well.
And I think we can add on to the vegan culture, which is
Vegan culture
good.
will go under social, yeah.
So it might also fall in the environmental, because if
No,
you move towards the
that is a
vegan,
choice or preference that you have now.
Yeah, that cannot be, I think, included in environmental.
I think
that is
it
your
can.
choice.
I believe it can, because if you're moving towards vegan, then you don't have to depend on animals for.
Right, but that is your choice, and therefore businesses will give you animal free or whatever, animal free,
Yeah.
vegan or plant-based or whatever that is.
No, but that cannot be,
So
applied to
animals lead to
any
these
individual. So this is a
greenhouse
choice
gases.
that an individual has to take. I mean, I don't think that could be fit. We can fit this in a strategy. This is something very basically, attached to the individual choices, that what in life he wants to.
Therefore
Yeah.
social, Paritosh, therefore social. And if you do a survey, it will tell you 60%, 40%, whatever that numbers are. So I'm just putting 3 R's that somebody gave a nice point. I'm just expanding to that. Recycle, reuse, and reduce philosophy for health and fitness too. Okay. All right, so that's basically the environment that we want to talk about. So more sustainable, more organic, more natural, more health-based is what we're looking at the environment telling us as well. So this is so now what happens typically, guys, is once you prepare the environment, now from here you will take key leads and say, because people are social cultural trends are like this, we will do this. Because technology is on the rise, we will come up with new ways of engaging with people. So those are the actions that you will develop based on the environment that you have studied. Normally, not more than 5 or 6 points per factor. And then you just, as we see, it is done at the industry level or at the market level, but it is done at the generic, never at the brand level. All of these are understood, acknowledged, because if you don't acknowledge this, it's not going to help you put your perspectives through. More importantly, guys, how often will you do a pestle analysis? Every month, every day?
Maybe the launch of a new product or a new portfolio.
Yeah, but that you could be launching new products every month.
It could be every financial year when.
Yeah.
Or maybe some, if there is some major change in policy or something.
Normally, guys, this is done at least once a year, and that is at the time of when you're putting your plans and strategy together. And that is usually the end of every quarter. So now, basically, most organizations are finalizing your plans for 2023, and a pestle has to be done because whatever you did as part of pestle will incorporate into your plans, and therefore your strategies will work accordingly.
Yeah. So I had one question. So we were only. Actually, when we were listing out these points, we were only doing the positive aspects, right? So should we not also include the negative, or what are the threats that can be there in the environment?
No, the threats the threats is what you will acknowledge. So if it is not there, then you will put that as a strategy. But if the environment does not have it and you want to put it as strategy, it's going to be a challenging task for you. If, for example, the society did not care about the health and fitness to the impact that it should, then that is a challenge for you to look into and say, hey, I want to take up this role and come out of the blue, take a first mover advantage and change the dynamics.
Yeah. So for example, if there are
that is your strategy. That is your strategy.
Yeah, for example, if there are some policies which are actually not conducive to setting up a new let's say, for example, a yoga center in a city, right? So there are some restrictions there. So we should also note down those points.
So then you will not put the point saying government policies are favorable. And when you're not putting that point in, you can highlight saying government policies are not favorable.
Okay, so you are saying that we do not need to explicitly put that. So if it's
Negatives,
missing, so
yeah.
if
Yeah,
okay,
if
it's
it's,
missing,
yeah,
it's
exactly. Yeah.
okay.
So because we are scanning the environment, we are only seeing what is existing. Because what is not existing could be different to different people, right? But we are capturing what is there around us, and from that, we are going to build our strategy. Now, if consumers are looking for new experiences, traditional ways of pleasing customers is not going to work because they want new ways of engagement. So we can infuse technology and create this, and that is going to be our strategy. Yeah, they also said in the case, I think they said it that medical is on the rise. So they will, so a lot of these, if you're a fitness provider, you will partner with a medical setup or a medical firm or a hospital or a physiotherapist or whatever that is, clinics, to be able to promote health and fitness. Okay. Clear about this, people? Any questions? Clear? Silence means yes, huh?
All good, sir. All good.
Okay, perfect. So I hope this is, this exercise was useful. Forget the academic point of view, but the professional point of view, you will get to do this in whatever capacity that you're working, and you will get to do this. And at that point of time, you can put this together based on the discussions that we've had today. Okay. Now, do you want a quick, 4 or 5 minutes natural break? We can do that and then come back and complete. Let's give you a quick 5 minutes and then come back and then let's continue. Okay.
Sure, done. Done. Thank you.
All right, people, are we back? So that was what we talked about on pestle. And let's talk about one more, principle of strategy, and this is called as Porter's, forces, or Porter's generic strategy. What Porter's has said as a generic strategy is you can either lead by costs, or you can lead by differentiation, or you can lead by focus. Yeah. Now, where would you put Airbnb? Cost leadership, differentiation, or focus? Yeah, anybody? Where would you put Airbnb? Cost leadership, differentiation, or focus?
I think it can be more of a differentiation.
Yes, it can be
As
more of
compared
a
to
differentiation, correct? Absolutely. So if I were to choose one, I would also go with differentiation. But if I can choose multiple, then I'm going to say it's a differentiation plus cost leadership model. Yeah. Where would you put Burberry as a brand? Cost leadership, differentiation, or focus? Yes, guys, Burberry.
More of a focus.
Yes, so
oriented
all
organization.
correct, all niche products, all premium products will be usually falling under the focus segment. Okay, and what about Big Bazaar? Cost leadership, differentiation, or focus?
Cost leadership.
Cost leadership, absolutely, cost leadership. Yeah. So your business model can fall into one or have a combination of these in terms of the strategy that you can adopt to differentiate in the marketplace, or to attract your target customers. In addition to generic strategies, you have another strong force that, or an analytical strategy tool that you use, and that is Porter's 5 forces of analysis. Now, Porter's 5 forces of analysis talks about bargaining power of suppliers, bargaining power of customers, threat of new entrants, substitutes, and competitive rivalry within an industry. So Porter's 5 forces threat of new entrants is what it says. So, normally the outcome of each one of this is high, medium, or low. So what is the threat of new entrants in the market? Is it easy for people to come in, or is competition to come in or not? And that is what it gives you. Power of suppliers. Is it a supplier controlled market, or do you have many suppliers to choose from? What is the bargaining power of the customer? Does customer have a choice? Is it driven by customer loyalty, or is it a price conscious customer, or a loyal, or a quality conscious customer that you're dealing with here? Will they be willing to pay a price premium if you win their hearts, basically on convenience or whatever? Substitutes. How easy is it for your product to be substitutable? And how competitive is your market? Is it monopolistic, oligopolistic, or is it purely competitive? Now, here the challenge is intention of competition, or is a direct competition great? Indirect competition becomes easier, or rather becomes difficult for us to meet with regards to now, how do we want to place this, or how do we want to understand this particular aspect of intensity of competition? So, guys, let's look at Netflix as an example. And when we look at Netflix as an example, you can take a picture shot of this if you want. I'm going to put you into your breakout rooms one more time, and not more than 5 minutes in the interest of time. Please highlight quick pointers telling me for each one of them. For Netflix, again, in the Indian market, how does this Porter's 5 forces look like for Netflix? Yeah. So I'm going to reshuffle the groups. I will
So can you share the slide once again?
Yeah, just a minute. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
1 minute, please. The moment I say I'll create a group, we lose some members. So I have to recreate. All right. So this is the slide that we're talking about. This one. I don't know who had
I got
asked,
it.
but you took. Okay, good.
Thank you.
So you have four groups now, and yeah, just actually 5 to 6 minutes, and then we come back and discuss this as a class. All right, everybody back? Good. Yeah, everybody's back. All right, so let's quickly do this as a class again exercise. We've got it for Netflix. So any of the rooms would like to take the lead on any one of them? Since we had 4,
Yeah, room 4.
let's...
Kumar Baba, you can go ahead first.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, room. Which one are you taking?
First one is threat of new entrants.
New entrants. Okay, so what do you want to tell me about the market firstly?
See, since there is a entertainment OTT platform, so there are many new entrants are coming up. So threat of new entrants is very high. Threat is very high here.
Okay, but you have to be so the outcome, what you're saying is high.
Yeah.
But can you elaborate a bit on the market analysis, threat of new entrants? So what are you saying? Many new entrants, you said.
Many like we have Amazon Prime, we have Sony Live and Disney Hotstar. And we can see
that's will you say threat of new entrants is how easy is it for a new entrant to get into this industry? So when you say threat is high, what are we saying? Is it easy or is it difficult to get into the industry?
Easy, it is easy.
So the threat of new entrants is practically low or medium.
Okay.
Okay, because it is easier to offer entertainment related services, right?
Yes, correct.
Right, that is why. Yeah, just 1 second. Just one.
Professor, you are on mute if you are.
So let's continue. So you're saying it's easier to offer entertainment related services to Indian consumers.
Yes.
Professor, I did not actually get. So why is the threat low?
Okay, because it is anybody wants to start a channel or wants to offer an entertainment, kind of OTT, regular television channel, it can be easier for a person to get into this kind of an industry. That's why you have many players offering this, right?
Yeah. So easier is fine. So that I understood. But why is the threat low? So threat should be high, right?
Yeah. No, threat is okay. Why is it low? Is because it is easier for people to enter. Now, if you're looking at it from the other side, which is what you're talking to me about, is high because it is easier. And I think this fits in well. It's high because of the logic that you provided on top.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So what do we consider then in that case? Because
so then logically, so it was low because anybody could enter, but it is high. So the way you want to talk about it is you want to support the analysis with your outcome.
So right now I'm a platform that is already established, and I know I'm Netflix.
So
I'm already established.
Correct. I'm analyzing this market and saying in my market, it is very easy for a new player to come into the market. So I have a high threat.
For me, because it will give me more competition.
Exactly. And for me is Netflix right now.
Yeah, so in that case, if I have to take this perception that I am Netflix and I know in the market anyone can enter this industry at this point of time,
it's easier for somebody to enter the industry.
It's easier to enter the industry, and with the the variety of content that we are getting these days, so for me it will be a threat not to my business when I
exactly, and that threat is high, Paritosh, so therefore you'll have to be mindful about it.
Yeah, so that's why I was also wondering that why we would keep it low.
Okay, fair enough.
When we
Yeah.
are-
So if the competition, if I had said it is difficult for you to enter, then the threats will be low.
Yeah, that would make sense, but that would make
Correct.
sense if I'm someone who is trying to get into the market to get a hold of it.
Exactly. Right. So we can say high, or we'll just put it as high, right? No
High
medium.
only, sir. That is high only. Threat is high.
Correct. Correct. Good. Any other room wants to pick up another one?
One thing which we wanted to talk about, sir, was in the threat of new entrants only. One of the things which we are discussing was the technological advances like metaverse. So metaverse is, I mean, that's again Microsoft as well as
Can we put that under substitutes? And here I will put that under substitutes.
So under substitute, we can say YouTube channel.
YouTube channel, metaverse, all these are
DTH.
all these are coming in, right?
Yeah, but I won't put that into substitute. It would be into threat of new entrants.
Yeah,
because
but threat of
metaverse is still upcoming technology. It's not there yet.
So, okay, how are we defining threat of new entrants? Is it easy or difficult to enter the industry?
No, because
it depends.
The metaverse gives
now we can't say depends. We have already said it's easier to enter this industry.
So you see, there was a time when we were dependent on DVD industry.
Correct.
It shifted to online content industry. Now, once it moves forward to the metaverse industry, there's going to be another shift into the trending of the technology.
So that is not going to come in here at the moment. Here, how does the industry look like? Is it easy for me to enter the industry or someone to enter the industry, or is it difficult? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. So when you say, Professor, when you say industry, do you mean only the OTT platforms that are there, or a new?
No, we cannot say only
ecosystem?
OTT right now, because when we look at substitutes and competition, we will be amazed to see that it's expanding to many other services.
But
Even
when
gaming,
you say the new
even
entrants,
gaming,
right?
yes, new entrants.
Yeah. So when you say new entrants, it is only specific to the OTT, or it will also have.
And now I've said to enter the offer entertainment related services.
Yeah. So then why metaverse cannot come here? Because if it would be,
I'm not giving examples here. I'm just saying how easy or difficult it is to come
understood,
here.
Understood.
Examples I will give, and substitutes. What are my substitutes? So gaming is also a substitute.
Yeah, so the example that we wanted to share is, let's say next year, Facebook is coming up with their own theaters like PVR, but in a metaverse kind of environment. That's going to be a threat for Netflix and all other
Of course
OTT
it will be. Of course it will be. So therefore they will enter next year, and my threat of substitutes is only going to expand, because now it is going to come into theaters. And this was happening in many markets post the pandemic. The theaters wanted to give you a Netflix kind of an experience.
Correct. Big. I think this Book My Show is already doing it. Streaming services.
Exactly. So therefore, all kinds of entrants are coming into this market. OTT is no longer OTT. Now we will see when we look at substitutes, metaverse, gaming, all of these are coming in with big growth rates in the future. Yeah. Now, so since we are talking substitutes, let's talk substitutes here. Threat of substitutes. We have movies or cinemas.
Cinema theaters, yep.
We have YouTube, we have metaverse, we have gaming, right?
Can we also include the Blu-ray discs edition, because some people like to collect those? They want to keep it as a as a physical form because they own it. They feel like they own it.
Fair enough. So we keep it. So if you see, threat of substitutes is in a sense indirect competition. Yeah, and the threat of substitutes is with this, is it high or low or medium?
I think it will be low when we consider the suppose if I'm we are taking the example of Netflix here. So in that case, I will say the threat of substitute would be low, because although people would like at times to enjoy movies in cinema with that theatrical experience, or they would like to do gaming, but if someone is 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 wanting to watch a show, he will do it, regardless of does he want to game or not. He would delay that, but I don't think it will make a big impact
The
on those
moment you
OTT
say,
platforms.
Paritosh, you will delay that, there is a threat of substitute to me.
But how do we define that it is a great threat, or it's
That's
just a low threat?
exactly the way I'm saying. So are people going to choose something else over me? And if they're going to choose something else over me, as a proactive business, I'm going to acknowledge it and say my threats are high. So and Netflix was criticized for the same reason. Its content was the biggest reason why it did not do well last couple of years. And it had a price hike 3 times in a row. Value for money was questioned, and Netflix is therefore geared up to build more content.
Yes,
And
that is fair enough, but it is content based. Now here,
See, Paritosh, today you're watching Netflix, yeah? Today, for example. Tomorrow you have a choice. And in that choice, if you prefer cinema over Netflix, my market share is dropped. You will delay me for something else. And what am I saying? So if you were watching 20 hours of Netflix, now you're only watching 5.
but see, in that case, that threat is inevitable when you say, because more and more options
Then
will
it's
come.
inevitable. I have to create something so that you choose Netflix over cinemas.
But that's
If
what
it
I'm
is-
saying. That
But Paritosh, if it's inevitable, then their strategy need not be done. Then we go by inevitableness all the time. Then what are we going to prepare for? That way, everything is inevitable. But why does a consumer express a choice? That is what businesses want you to do. Express a choice, right?
Right.
So I think Netflix is going through a major change in their business environment. That is because, like Disney, they're creating their own content and they have their own app now, like
Correct.
Hotstar, right? They're not selling the content to other platforms.
Correct.
Correct. So that's one of the threats that the industry is facing. And Netflix has to spend a lot of money on creating their own production. Plus, India is a very price sensitive market. So you cannot only depend on customers paying you.
All that you're talking about, Ansh, is strategy.
Right, sir. And I'm just relating it to the
Yes.
substitution.
Correct.
The third point I wanted to pick up, like Amazon. Amazon Prime is a service which is provided by Amazon, but they are not profiting from just the Prime Video.
That's
It's
true.
just a benefit. So that is also a major challenge for Netflix because they will have to come up with a model which is making them profitable to
Absolutely
sustain in the
true.
market.
Absolutely true.
So that's another threat.
So as a result of which, Amazon, I would put it as intention of competition only in the market because it's direct competition, and threat of substitutes is, because you have so many substitutes, you really need to stand out through your VSPs, value selling propositions.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're going to be, and which is the market which is of focus for Netflix? It's not India, because India has intense competition in this market. It's not US or developed, it is the Middle East markets, because these markets are very new to an OTT network. So for Netflix, growth in the next 2 to 3 years would be coming in from the Middle East markets.
Got it.
Yeah, that is their strategy, though, based on what they see. Okay. So high, medium, or low, guys? What do you want to write here?
High.
High. Very good.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's high.
Very high. Good. Now since we're talking substitutes, let's take competition. I think Ansh, you mentioned Amazon Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What else? Disney Hotstar.
So Amazon Prime is playing on cost and Disney on
Yes,
content.
exactly correct. And if you want to write that, you can write that also. Okay. Somebody else also had something, right?
Yeah, I
Z.
think
Sony
yeah,
Live.
Z5, Root, these are some people are doing on exclusivity, like content.
Correct. Correct.
Airtel is a major challenger now. Airtel, Big Flex, something like that. It's
Okay,
giving
I
all
heard that too. Yeah. Any others? And plus your, I would say, what is it? Local television.
Yep,
Yeah,
DTH.
DTH.
Yeah, local television plus whatever, all those channels, entertainment channels that you have.
Hmm.
Yeah, all of this is your competition. So intentions of competition, high, medium, or low.
It is high.
Okay, now you see how the industry is, and this is how you will typically talk threat of new entrants first, then substitutes, then competition. So this is a fairly competitive and also a fragmented market. You will have to create your niche, otherwise you're going to be swamped in this entire gamut of the Indian subcontinent trying to attract these people. Power, let's talk now to customers, bargaining power of customers.
I
It's
think the
high.
competition here
Since
does kind of influence the price, but we don't have a direct say as a customer. You don't have a direct say in the prices. So whatever the prices that are given, we have to accept it for a
But do you have a
subscription.
choice?
I do have a
since we
choice.
have a
Yes.
lot of choices,
I do
we
have
can
a choice.
say
Yeah.
I think we also have this piracy,
Sorry?
which is also a threat to Netflix, right?
Which one? What was
Piracy.
that?
Piracy is a
Piracy,
threat.
correct. Yeah.
So when people can get it for free, why are we going to pay you? There should be some added
should we
advantage.
say that here?
We shouldn't be, but that's a risk.
No, that's a reality.
That should come in.
That would be a substitute.
That would be
more
a
of
substitute. Yeah, that could come in
Yeah.
substitute.
And that's a big war to fight at its own end.
Yep. In India, I mean, we are used to freebies.
Actually, world over, not only in India, everybody is used to. So therefore, a lot of the downstreaming platforms are not authenticated.
Yep.
Okay. So customer is not the king, but the customer is the emperor. So they have a choice. And if they have a choice, what do you do? Now, in the US, for example, people have 3 connections. So if Netflix increased their price 3 times and Disney did not, and Disney is high on content, if they had to disconnect a connection, it was Netflix.
Even India, it has an average of 3
so.
to
Bargaining
4
power is high.
per consumer, I believe.
Correct. Yeah. So it will be high, medium, or low. I think
High.
somebody
It is
answered
high.
that, right?
Bargaining power is high.
Very good. And I'll just express that better.
So one question here: even though the bargaining power is high, the price of the content is or price of the service is still dictated by the platforms only, right? So
Absolutely correct. But look at if in your eyes, if there is no value for money, you're going to switch to substitutes or another competitor. So on Amazon
yeah, that's
Prime,
there, but yeah,
so you would disconnect.
So for example, Amazon Prime is also now increasing the subscription rates.
So if
right? As in
everybody is
Hotstar
increasing, everybody is increasing as an industry, then price no longer becomes a differentiator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is obviously other aspects.
Okay.
Yeah. So customer does have a choice, and the bargaining power is very high here. Right. Last one.
I just need a counterpoint to this one, sir. Just want to share that.
Go ahead.
I mean, the content which is shared by each and every portal right now is exclusive. It's like taking an example of FIFA or taking example of World Cup, Cricket World Cup. It was only streamed by any one of the platforms.
Exactly.
So again, your choice was restricted. Same goes with any other movie channels also. Like the Marvel movie series is only with Disney Hotstar. None of the others have it.
Correct.
I by force will have to take the Disney Hotstar. So in that case, the bargaining power is
Nishant, what percentage of the customer only goes for exclusivity? Because you have multiple channels, right? So World Cup FIFA was only for a month.
Yeah, right.
So you add on to your programs and take it for a month and then you desubscribe again. Yeah,
Okay, right.
Because exclusivity is not the choice driver. Exclusivity is an add-on.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so they won't be repeat customers, right? This is what you're.
Exactly. So, there are a lot of these movies releasing either on one of these platforms, right? Not on all of them. And that's why and penetration, somebody said in India also, you have about 3 of them.
So here the deciding factor would be value for money. Like
yes. And that will come from here. That is not coming from here, but value for money as a deciding factor would come from social. Yeah.
So it's a trade-off between like what kind of content you want to give up for what kind of money.
Correct. Price versus value. And last one, power of suppliers.
I would say it's going lower.
Yes. Okay. Why would you say that?
Because currently, because the OTT platforms had to go with so much losses because of the major movies getting flopped, now they're going to a different model altogether. They are first of all looking at which movies are doing good and well in the theaters, and then they are offering them price of considering them to be added to the OTT platforms to reduce the cost and to get value out of them.
I would like to add one thing in this.
Go ahead.
Although this is right, but some the OTT platforms, they buy the rights before even the movie is released, just given the credibility of the production house.
Yeah, that's changing.
So suppliers are basically who? The technicians, the content writers, the crew, the members, and therefore the credit terms will be as per the players, and they'll be forced to collaborate, because if they don't, they're going to lose out on being associated with a player. So suppliers, I would say medium or low power in terms of what they can exert or what they can do.
So here the exclusivity point we can add on, because like so if we take example of Hotstar, they have this exclusive content of all the Disney movies, right?
Correct.
So Marvel movies.
But that is one part of the supplier, right? The other part of supplier will be their employees, their crew members, their part-time suppliers of other all your procurement wala suppliers.
Okay.
Okay. So the power of suppliers, they will have to play the game with them, and that would be medium. The credit terms were revised during the last couple of years. Instead of 45 days, it's now gone up to 60 days.
Here, power of supplies means production houses, actually.
And that is one part of it only. What about the light equipment suppliers? What about the artist suppliers?
So this is, we are saying when we say that for the exclusive content of Netflix, that Netflix is basically producing.
Exactly.
So for those content we are saying.
Correct.
So that is if I think that will depend on the quality of content and the trend in the market which is going on. Like if your content is getting declined, like we see with Netflix that it is not on a great run lately. So in that case, suppliers would be kind of they'll have the reservations while producing.
Yeah, but if Netflix is offering them something, they will be wanting to collaborate, right, with somebody or the other, because they want work, they want the economy to move ahead. So if you have a Disney versus the Netflix, you'll probably want to work with both of them in terms of light equipment, supplying whatever content writers, whatever you want to give, unless they sign exclusivity contracts with them.
Yeah, it also depends on the business model also, right? For example, if the Amazon Prime or Disney, right? So they are outsourcing, they are not
exactly
doing their exclusive.
But if you're doing outsourcing, you need all the more control, quality checks from the outsourced supplier.
Yeah.
And that will only come if you guarantee business. And outsourcing models, you want business, so you will do the best for them. So suppliers will be forced to collaborate either through payment terms, credit terms, or content terms. Everybody likes long-term contracts.
Yeah, it also depends on the number of market players, right? So if the market players are very high, so this will eventually go the reverse side, right? So it will be low.
Absolutely correct. Yes, Manmeet, I would also agree with that logic. So, what Porter's Five Forces does is gives an analysis from the industry, mainly from the participants, that is customers, as well as from the competition point of view. Less preferred compared to a pestle, because pestle gives you a bigger picture, but Porter's Five Forces gives you a slightly micro but an industry perspective. So if you get your industry perspective from pestle, then you can skip Porter's Five Forces if you could do that. Yeah. Cool. And I have just a few more slides to finish, and then we would. So basically, guys, how does the decision making look like for an organization? What we're trying to say is these decisions need to be across levels. Everybody must be empowered to take their decisions, and that is written very clearly in the job descriptions, what you can take and what you cannot take, or which you want to escalate to the upper management.
So sorry to interrupt. So just one small question. So this pestle versus Porter's Five Forces. So is this also, let's say,
it's a tool? It's a tool.
Yeah, these are tools, but are they also, for example, if you want a crisp or if you want a top level picture, then you are moving to Porter's
pestle. Let's put it this as pestle is a must.
Okay.
Porter's Five Forces, it's optional depending on the need, whether you want to do it or it. Like, a lot of businesses know this, so they don't need to put it together. It's optional because you get a lot of opportunity perspective from pestle itself.
Okay, so I was just thinking, so is there any preference for example, for higher management, they are more focused on Porter's Five Forces or something? Because
pestle is a must. Now there are other tools also that you have a choice. Like next time when you talk about SWOT, so there is always a choice between SWOT and Porter's Five Forces, and SWOT is preferred. So Porter's Five Forces, like if there are 10 organizations, all 10 will use pestle. Out of the 10, 4 or 5 will use Porter's plus pestle. Yeah. So
and at what levels are these applicable? Are these?
This is at the strategy level, at the higher level. Okay. This is all at all strategy formulation.
Are they also done at mid-manager level, or
how is your team at the strategy level is what is important. So if you have, like we said, the implementers need to be there in the planning, and if the implementers are into planning, they also are a part of the decision making. So your porters, you must put the porters together with your people concerned, top, middle, and lower, because we want to get their perspectives also. The person on the ground faces the challenges every day rather than the CEO in the room. Yeah. So you must get the voice of your teams when you're voicing or when you're putting your porters together.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's what we are talking about, decisions. So there are strategic decisions on the top. There are tactical decisions for middle management, and there are day-to-day decisions for your teams operating. And one of the key points that are said is for an organization to be successful is your seniors, your C-suite people should be taking faster decisions, agile, and they should be taking fewer decisions. Because senior management love and they want to be in their comfort zones, what they normally do is they take decisions that their juniors should be taking, and they don't take the decision that they should be taking. And that's a problem in most organizations when you look at forward looking, when you look at promptness and decision making, and which should be avoided. So these are some examples which we spoke about. At different levels, people should be taking as per their decisions, as per their roles. Another important aspect which you must always take into account is benchmarking or comparisons. And you can make comparisons within your industry or outside of your industry. Like Microsoft benchmarks its stores with Starbucks because they offer superior or impeccable service. So based on your benchmark, you want to, obviously, if it is your value, you should, even if it's not, you want to enhance your services and show continuous improvement. If your turnaround time is about 1 day and you say it's great, but if the industry turnaround time is 4 hours, then that 1 day is not good enough. So your benchmarking always keeps you abreast of industry, expecting your or giving your customers what they need. Because if you don't give it, competition is already going to offer it. Various benchmarking people do functional. So, how should the organization structure be? Normally, HR does that. Should you insource or outsource? That is something that you want to look into. Competitive benchmarking, everybody does in terms of what is the price that competition is offering, what is the product suite, what is the business model that they operate. Like somebody said, Amazon is good on pricing, whereas Disney is good on content. So that's like a benchmark that you do for competition. Internal benchmarking, you want to make sure that everybody supports each other and offers the best service. So you can say last, employee of the month is an internal benchmark that you create, and a strategic benchmark is which are the organizations that have done well on strategy, implementation, execution, and which are the ones that have not done well. So this is the benefits of benchmarking. Obviously, while there are other benefits, the most important benefit is it keeps you ahead of the curve. It gives the benefit to the customer what they deserve, because if the customer is expecting something and competition is offering it, you want to do that as well, and not just be good in cuckoo's land. You must be good in the industry. So these are the three things that we have studied today in terms of strategic development models, and that is PESTEL, Porter's 5 forces, and benchmarking. And all of these are strong strategy development tools. So we've got 5 so far, 2 for implementation, which is balance scorecard, and what was the other one? Was balance scorecard and SMART. At a strategy level, you have PESTEL, you have benchmarking, and you have Porter's 5 forces. Yeah, so we've got 5 strategy tools that we've discussed over a 2-day period. Any questions? Sorry, guys, just wanted to share something.
In between, I just had a small question about the
PESTEL. Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
What we have discussed today was kind of a little superficial. I just wanted to know, as per actuals, while I am in a company and if I've been asked to do an analysis along with my team, so I suppose it should have been much more detailed in terms of some facts and figures to be presented, or is it supposed to be the way that we have done it?
Which one are we talking about? PESTEL?
PESTEL. I'm talking about PESTEL.
PESTEL. Okay. Absolutely. See, we are just giving you how it is prepared as an approach. In real life, it takes time, and it takes time means not 1 month or 5 months. It takes about 1 week or about 10 days to put this together. And of course, facts and figures, some are required in PESTEL for you to justify what action you will be taking. So while this is, of course, it is done in a classroom setup, but the perspective, the approach is what I want you to take with you.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, and facts and figures, we've also assumed something. If you notice, the CAGR, the percentages, the stuff, which you must bring onto the table when you put your PESTEL together.
Right. Got it.
Yeah, cool. Now, guys, I've just put in a feedback form. I just request you to kindly fill in before we finally sign off here. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, let me know. Happy to address it. Yeah. So people on day 2, any quick comments? Is this approach of how we doing it okay? Does it enhance learning?
Yeah, I think this gives us a good understanding of how analyses are performed.
Okay,
absolutely.
Yeah, I
Well,
think the group
it's my
discussions are good,
birthday.
so we can
Yeah, the group discussions are
get
better.
across
You know,
the thought processes of others, right?
yeah,
So
we get to talk a lot, understand, see what others are thinking, and then we collectively.
yeah, it helps in different perspectives and stuff.
Right.
Because absolutely, Rohit, because in the real world, we will be working as a team. And strategy is the most abstract of everything. As I said in the first session, everybody claims to know it, but only few know how to do it right. So if you know how to do it right, then of course the merits or the benefits of strategy can be reaped. And it's never one point is right, it's a perspective. And how well are you going to put that perspective, obviously supporting with data. So good, guys, if you've done your feedback, then thank you very much. And we see you on Friday now. Yes.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening and a good week ahead. See you Friday.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Just fill your form and then close down. Yeah.
Absolutely.